My dear brothers and sisters in soul, today's lesson is the most important thing to be learned in a human life. Not only in human life, but in all lives, even in the life of gods. Because this is the ultimate level of evolution. The soul goes back to the source from which it came, from God. So the individual fragmented soul becomes the whole. Once again, it becomes the absolute. This is the only chance, opportunity for the human to become the absolute, not only in knowledge but also in powers. So this is called Siva Yoga. Of course, all yogas mean in some degree that union of individual soul with the oversoul or God. But Siva Yoga is something entirely different from other yogas. All along the Siddha tradition, starting from Thiruvalluvar and 18 Siddhas, it goes through the writings of Vallalar also, and Vallalar adds one or two important points to that. We are going to see that. Basically, we must remember four things. They are mentioned in a chapter called Siva Yoga by Vallalar Swami. When we offer the lighted camphor during Aarti in our prayer to the Lord, Arutperunjothi, we sing that hymn, those 10 mellifluous songs. It says, Indar Arulamudam Yanarindal Venduminge Nanda Manivilake Gnanasabai Yendaye Kove Yenadu Guruve Yenayanda Deve Kadavaitira. All the 10 songs finish with the last line, Engal Sivane Kadavaitira. Oh, our unique Lord Siva, open the door. That is the first request by Swami. Second request is, Indar Arulamudam Yan Arundal Vendu. Oh, give me your Ambrosia of compassion. That is supposed to be the ultimate type of Ambrosia. Vallalar Swami gives us a whole science of Ambrosia, and he deals with 12 types of Ambrosia. They are all given in the prose works and Agaval poem. The last one, the final one, is the divine Ambrosia of compassion. That only can transform your body, mind, soul and spirit into Arutperunjothi, according to Vallalar Swami. That was what happened to him in 1874 on the Thaipusam day. So the second thing is the description, the asking for the Ambrosia, and the third thing is the description of the Ambrosia, and the final thing is that Swami says, Oh Lord, give it to me here upon earth, not after death somewhere in heaven. No, here, in this place, upon earth. So these four things are repeatedly asked by Vallalar Swami to Arutperunjothi or Arutchivam. Vallalar transforms even the definition of Siva into Arutchivam, compassionate Siva. But that demands a lot of explanation. We don't have time for that. Okay. Now, Indar Arulamudam. It is Ambrosia, and it is called Ambrosia of compassion, Arulamudam. And where does it come from? Indu means in ancient Tamil, moon. Where is this moon? You could see it on a picture of portraiture of Siva. There will be two things on his head. On the one side he will have the pot of ambrosia called moon, and on the other side the Akashic Ganges, spiritual Ganges. So out of that pot you have that ambrosia. Well, actually it is not only a liquid, it is at once liquid, fire, air and space. It's volatile in nature. It's like a spirit. It's a vapor. It's a vaporous substance, they say. Okay. Well, we'll leave the other aspects of Siva's picture for later discussion. So, Indar Arulamudam. So, this Arulamudam comes from the part of ambrosia called moon on the head of Siva. And he says, Nanarundal Vendum Inge. See? Here upon the earth, give it to me now when I am alive as a human being. And he describes the form of Lord. Mani Vilakke, Nanda Mani Vilakke. Mani Vilakke is gem of a lamp. Nanda means God is Arutperunjothi. It never diminishes. It never shrinks. It is never unburnt. It is always ever growing light. So, Nanda Mani Vilakke, Gnana Sabai Endaye. Where is he? He is inside the Gnana Sabha, house of the temple of Gnosis. Gnana Sabai Endaye. Oh, Endaye means, oh, my father and mother. Endai means my father. Tai means mother. He unites these two words into one word. Endaye. Kove, oh my Lord, oh my King. Guruve, oh my Guru. Endaye, Kove, Guruve. Yenayanda Deve. Vallalar Swami says, God preoccupied his mind. He entered into his mind at the early age of 6. Yenayanda Deve. You are the controller of my life. You are the ruler of my life. We are run by our egos, but Swami says he was conducted by Lord always. So this is one poem. In another, there are some 10 poems. I don't think we have time for all that. I will explain 2 more lines from another poem. Vanorku aridanave mamaraigal saatruhindra gnanodaya amudam nanarunda venduminge. See, the Vedas mamaraigal declare this bliss of ambrosia in the form of light is not available even for the gods. Vanorku aridu. It is not possible even for them to get it. Vanorku aridanave mamaraigal Vedas declare saatruhindra gnanodaya amudam. This bliss gives you jnana, Siva jnana. What is Siva? He is the personification and the embodiment of all wisdom, divine wisdom. So this ambrosia will give you Siva jnanam and it will make you Siva. Vano karidanave mamaraigal saatruhindra gnanodaya amudam nanarundal venduminge. So it goes, all the 10 verses go like this, describing the ambrosia and attributes of God in different ways. And Vallalar Swami gives some 2,400 attributes of God. I don't find it so many attributes of God in any other scripture. Okay, now there are 6 questions arising out of this 6 stages for arriving at Siva Yoga, that is union with Siva. What are they? First we must know, he says, Engal Sivane Kadavaitira. O Lord, open the door. He says, where is this door? Unless we know the exact place, we cannot open it. Sorry. And Swami gives us the exact place of this door in the Agaval poem. Thiru Nilai Tani Veli Siva Veli Yenum or Arul Veli Padi Valar Arutperunjothi. Padi means place. Thiru Nilai. This is a very important word. Thiru means eternal and three, Trinity. Thiru Nilai. Why is it called Tirunilai? Tirunilai, Nilai means a situation, a condition, eternal condition, and it is also called three. Why is it called three? In English it is called three. In Sanskrit it is called Trai. All derived from the Tamil word Thiru. Where is this Thiru? And Vallalar Swami explains, this Tirunilai is written in the form of the Tamil letter Ak. 3 dots. One above and 2 below. 3 dots. This is like this. So, when we portray a third eye for Siva here, you see, you got one eye, third eye, and these 2 eyes. They go to make the triangle. 3 dots. That is Ak. This is shown on the outer face, but actually it is inside. And where is it? You see, the first upper opening is here on the crown. In a newborn baby, you can touch it. There will be a pit here. And later, after some months, it will be, that aperture will be closed. And upon the roof of your mouth, annakku mele, there will be 2 holes. So, 1 here and 2 above the roof of your mouth. So, the letter Ak is already written there in the human body by God Himself. Whoever he may be, he may be belonging to any religion, but he is endowed with a human body. That's why Upper Swami and all the Siddhas says, Kayathul Nindra Kadavulai Kandene. And at the center of this triangle, Tirunilai, there is a light. That light is called soul or Chitrambalam. Chitrambalam, Ambalam means a temple. Chitrambalam means 2 things. Siru Ambalam, smallest of the small. It is smaller than the nano particle. And the second meaning is Chit Ambalam. Chit means live, spiritual. So it is a divine space. That's soul or Atman is already in 2 forms. It is already a different space. Taniveli. It is, there are infinite number of spaces according to Vallalar, and this is the penultimate space. What is the ultimate space? Inside this soul, there is the oversoul or Arutperunjothi. It is called Sugaperu Veli. It is another space, and it is at once space and light. Our Atman is a light as well as a different form of space, and God is another form of space. Soul is the penultimate space and God is the ultimate space. Soul is the penultimate form of light, spiritual light, and God is the ultimate form of light called compassionate, absolute compassionate light. So, Swami changes this Chitrambalam into Arulambalam. Unless your Chitrambalam soul is transformed into a compassionate soul, it cannot reach Siva. It cannot unite itself with Arutperunjothi, because God is all compassion. So unless you become compassionate, unless your life becomes a way of compassion, you cannot meet Siva, see Siva or unite with him. This is Vallalar Swami's version of Siva Yoga. Okay. Now we know the place inside the forehead. That is one meaning. And Thiruvalluvar long ago put it in a different way. He gives us 10 degrees of knowledge in his Tirukkural. I have written a whole book on 10 degrees of knowledge. It's also available in my spiritual commentary on Tirukkural, the big one. He says, our thought is the 6th degree. Intuition is the 7th degree. Insight is the 8th degree. And Siddha esoteric awareness, Nunman Nurai Pulam. Pulam means knowledge. Nurai Pulam means that which could enter into the door. Nurai, entering. Nunman, where to enter? Nunman, inner space, subtle space, divine space. So that is the 9th degree of intelligence or knowledge. So Tiruvallur Swami tells us that unless one develops this 9th degree of knowledge, one cannot enter into Chitrambalam. Since it is very, very small, smallest of the small in the entire cosmos, in the creation, your sensitivity, your awareness must be so sharpened so as to enter into it. It must be smaller, it must be more refined and rarefied than your soul. That is why Vallalar Swami and Tiruvallur Swami, they put a lot of emphasis on non-vegetarian food and non-killing. See, this eating of flesh and killing of animals, it makes your sensitivity coarse and thickened. That's why another foreign Siddha said, you cannot enter into the kingdom of God even if a camel enters into the eye of a needle. It's like the eye of a needle. Your desire, your sensitivity is coarse like an elephant. And when you take non-vegetarian food, what happens? It develops into a large whale. How can a large whale enter into the eye of a needle? That's why a lot of stress is put on non-eating of flesh and non-killing of. When you kill, you will be killed. It's Newton's second law. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. That is one way. So we saw two ways now. Vallalar Swami is Tirunilai, and then Tiruvallur Swami is Nunman Nurai Pulam. And the next thing is, you have to concentrate on this form. Vallalar Swami gives us 2 steps, gives it in 2 steps. Eppodum Sikchavayin Kanne Gavanam Vaikka, that is insight. You concentrate on that. Adarku munne Purva Madhiyil Gavanam Vaikka. First you concentrate on this point, above the tip of your nose. This is called, this place is called Mukku. You concentrate on this place. You can do it all through the day, all the 24 hours. When you have headache, stop it for some time and then you continue. When this sensation, well, it will be something like an ant crawling upon your skin. When this sensation continues, you go on with that. When it continues for night and day, well, you have attained the first, you reach the first level, and you can enter into the second stage of looking at the inner Chitrambalam. That is the most important thing. And Swami adds one more thing. This was the command of the Siddhas. And Vallalar Swami says, when he sings about Manikavasa Swamigal, he says, all the Siddhas were deceived by the practice of concentrating on Vasi Yoga and putting their mind on Chitrambalam. Most of them were deceived. Tavam Seivar Ellarum Yemaka, uses the word Yemaka. They were deceived. They could not see you. Why? And he adds this emphasis on Manikavasagar's practice. He says, you must also pray on that spot. You go to a temple and pray there, it's good. It will give you only certain amounts of benefits. It will give you money, fame, name and all those things. It's alright. Okay, all worldly things you can have. Even some siddhis you can have. But you cannot see Siva, you cannot attain Sivahood. Because Swami says, you must pray on that inner spot. Why? Swami gives you the detail. All the other forms of yoga and tapas like austerity, they produce only impure heat, asutta ushnam. As a result, you will have diseases born of heat like your constipation, piles and other complexes. Okay. And when you pray, what happens? Prayer is nothing but love, devotion shown towards God. And Vallalar adds compassion towards all being. So both are based on love. Only love is pure heat. Sutta Ushnam, he says. And only by Sutta Ushnam, these 7 screens, if you go to the temple at Vadalur, first the door is there, the door is opened. Immediately what do you see? You see the 7 veils, 7 screens of obscuration, Maraipu Thiraigal. And they are removed one by one. All the 7 are removed. And we cannot remove them here, we have to burn them. How to burn them? With your pure heat. How can pure heat be produced? Only by 2 ways. By love towards God and love towards all beings. Because you consider all beings as manifestations of Siva and worship them in the form of beings. Worship Siva in the form of beings. Uyirulyam yemmul uyir idai unarnde uyir nalam paravuga endra Sivame. God himself reveals to Vallalar, "O my son, don't pray to me only in the temple. Worship every being. I am inside every being. So worship me in the form of every being, because I am the manifestation of every being." So there are 2 ways in which this pure heat is produced, and by producing pure heat, you burn all these 7 colors of screen, 7 colorful screens. And beyond that, what do you find? There is a mirror. That mirror is the symbol of your soul, Chitrambalam. And upon the mirror, you see the image of Arutperunjothi. That is why Vallalar Swami put it, the mirror. Even at the tender age of 6, he asked his brother to give him a large mirror upon which he saw God in the form of Lord Shanmugamurti with 6 heads. So only upon the mirror of soul, one could see God's image. And how long can you see it? When you think of God, the image is imprinted there. When you think of other things, God goes away. When you constantly think of God, God will be permanently impressed there, be impressed there. That's why Manikavasara Swami says, "Imaipoludum ennenjil ningadan thalvazhga." Even for the twinkling of an eye, I never forgot Shiva. Imaipoludum ennenjil ningadan is not removed from my mind even for a second, even for a twinkling of an eye. Vallalar Swami also says the same thing. Ninna endri veru ninaithadundo. I never thought of anything else. Ichai ninmel anandri enakku ella alavu verondril ichai illai enna anai ennarumai ayyave. See, I have no other desire except to see you and merge with you and surrender to you totally, absolutely. This is the only task in Siva Yoga. We don't do anything. We can't do anything. How can you reach God, the absolute? We are nothing. We are like an atom, and it is like the immense, infinite cosmos with infinite number of galaxies and still ever expanding. So there is no question of we doing anything to join with Shiva. We can do only one thing. We can constantly think of him. We can pray to him there, and we can totally surrender ourselves. Ennudalum, ennuyirum, enporulum, nane kodukka vaangik kondai. So Vallalar Swami offered himself totally, his body, his mind, his possessions, his soul, everything to Siva. Then one day Siva will recognize that you are totally involved, totally interested only in attaining Siva. When you are interested in worldly things, he will not come. It's not one thought among millions as we do. He wants to be the only one thought. When you have reached that state, God himself will descend into your body and sit in your heart and soul. So, you must not only concentrate on that point, you must also pray on that point of Chitrambalam. That is, so, and there is another thing. Vallalar Swami is a practical man. He knows human psychology. So he gives us some other tips for us. He says, use Karisalai, this Eclipta alba. First thing in the morning after brushing your teeth, you take the herbal tea of Eclipta alba. And then you make a paste of it and rub it on the roof of your mouth. Then the excessive phlegm and the gastric juices will come out. Now they are obstructing the way to the door of Chitrambalam. Once they are removed, it will be easy for you to enter into the door. When the door is opened, you can have the sight of the Lord, and what will God give us? He will give you the Ambrosia of compassion, and then He will give you Veha Kal, unburnable air or divine breath or Holy Spirit. He will give you that, and He will give you Arularivu, absolute knowledge also. These three things we can have from God only when we enter into the house of God. So these are the three benefits we get by entering into that door. So by brushing with Karisalai and putting its paste upon the roof of your mouth, this excessive phlegm and bile juices will come out. That is one thing. And Tirumular Swami gives us two tips about Vasi Yoga. In one beautiful verse, he says, where is this door? Kan, Naku, Mooku, Sevi, Gnana Koottathul, Pannaki Vaitha Palamporul Ondru Undu. Where these four instruments of wisdom join together inside your brain, at that junction, there is one mantra. Pan means song, mantra. There is one song, one divine word, Om. It means God Shiva. There is that place. Where is that place? In the junction where these four, eyes, ears, tongue and nose, join inside the tip of the nose, there is the Lord. That is one way of describing the place where this door is situated. And he gives another tip. Says, in Vasi Yoga, some people think it is done by pranayama or breathing. It's a different sort of breathing, but not so. Another Siddha says, Vasi என்பது கண்ணும் மனமும். Vasi means air, not only breath. Kannum manamum, it's also your eyesight and thought of mind. These three must combine. Eyesight, thought of mind and breath. And Tirumular Swami says, eyes play more importance in Siva Yoga than in any other yoga. Eyes are the most important thing because you can see the Lord only with your eyesight. So in Vasi Yoga, I don't know whether I should say that it's a dangerous practice. Some yogis make it a practice to turn over this eyeballs inside 180 degrees. Sorry, just for information, don't try it now. It's very dangerous game. Well, Hatha yogis could do that. You forget it. Okay, and he puts a lot of emphasis on the eyesight, because in another verse he says, எண்ணாயிரத்தாண்டு யோகம் இருக்கினும் கண்ணார் அமுதினை கண்டவர் இல்லை. எண்ணாயிரத்தாண்டு யோகம் இருக்கினும் கண்ணார் அமுதினை கண்டவர் இல்லை. உள்நாடிக்குள்ளே ஒளிபெற நோக்கிடில் கண்ணாடி போல கலந்திருந்தானே. This verse, it is priceless. I didn't see this fact in any other text of yoga. எண்ணாயிரத்தாண்டு யோகம் இருக்கினும், even if you practice other forms of yoga for 8,000 years, we cannot see God. How does he describe God? Kannar amudinai. Kannar amudinai. God is described as Ambrosia, nectar. Kannar amudinai. Why does he say that? He is a form of eye, divine eye. And Kannar amudinai means Ambrosia given by the eye. So eye means only one eye, the third eye, it is eye of Siva. It is inside. It is also called Chitrambala. Kandavar illai. No one has seen it even after practicing yoga for 8,000 years. And how to see that? He gives you the exact reply. Ulnadi yulle. There are three nadis, you know, Edakala, Pingala and Sulmunai. That is called Ulnadi. Inner meridian, central meridian or central nadi. And Vallalar Swami explains it. Nadunadi, Nadunadi, Nadaraja, Patiye. Pati means house, place. Where is Lord Nataraja's house? Nadunadi, the central column, central meridian. Nadunadi, Nadunadi, Nadaraja, Patiye. Thiruvalur Swami also says there. Same thing. Ulnadiyulle olibera nokkidil. There is a light, and light can be seen only by eyes. Light, it's a different form of light, and light can be seen only by your eyes. That is why he puts a lot of emphasis on eyesight. Ulnadiyulle olibera nokkidil kannadi pola kalandirundane. Again, the reason why Vallalar put a mirror there, ancient tradition of Siddhas, and perfecting them. See, Valayadi, Valayana, Vanda, Tirukutta, Maravil, says it's a Marabu tradition. Yan Oruvanandro, I am only one of a long tradition of Siddhas. Like the banana tree sprouts at the base of another banana tree. Valayadi, Valayana, Vanda, Tirukkuttathil, Yan Oruvan Andro. I came last. I also belong to that Siddha tradition. So, and Thirumalur Swami says, Kannadi Bola Kalandirundane. Why is it? The image is imprinted on the mirror, but it is always detached. Remember it. Once you remove your mind from God, what happens? It goes away. If you want God, Siva, to be indelibly impressed continuously and forever inside your mind, you must have no other single thought except Siva. That is the only way. I don't think there is any other way. If you think, that is why in another place Swami says, see, in Siva Yoga there are two stages according to some texts of Saiva Siddhanta. Even Vallalar accepts it. At the first stage, God's divine consort, Arutshakti, enters into your soul. Not enters, it is already there. Even now we have that. But we have it in the form of Thirodayi Mayai. It is called this Maya. We are always acting upon the orders of Thirodayi. What is Thirodayi? It is the act of obstruction, veiling. It is always veiling our knowledge. And when will it be removed? And Saiva Siddhanta has already given us a wonderful formula. I have already told you. Iruvinai oppu mala paribhagam satinipadam. There are 4 stages. Iruvinai oppu, when you feel that both pain and pleasure are equally given by or equal blessings by the Lord, and accept it as such, your karma will go. Slowly it will be erased. Oppu mala paribhagam. When this karma of kanma, ancient vasanas, are completely abolished and erased, what happened? Sattini padam. Sattini means the divine mother goddess. Padam means feet. The feet of the divine mother will be placed upon your head only when all these 3 malas are totally erased from your consciousness. This Tirodai, it itself will transform into Arutshakti. Sattini Padam. What is Sattini Padam? It means grace. So, the very act of obstruction, veiling, is transformed into grace. And the Swami says, Ninnayum Ninnarutshaktiyin vadivayum ennayum onrenai yetriya thandai. O my Lord, O my Father, you and the form of your divine consort and myself, all the 3 were united into one form. That is the first stage of Siva Yoga. After that, Swami says, முப்பொருளும் ஒன்றதென்பார் வெண்ணிலாவே அந்த மூன்றும் ஒன்றாய் முடிந்ததென்ன வெண்ணிலாவே. There are 3 things, 3 eternal verities: God, creation, that is world, and soul. And inside our body you have all the 36 tattvas. Tattvas which go to make the world also. So we are a miniature world, miniature cosmos, and we have got the soul inside. So Shiva, soul, and the world, all the 3 are joined together. முப்பொருளும் ஒன்றதென்பார் வெண்ணிலாவே அந்த மூன்றும் ஒன்றாய் முடிந்ததென்ன வெண்ணிலாவே. Only in Siva Yoga all these 3 forms are totally joined together, and there will be no individual soul left. You become Siva, you remain as Siva, you live like Siva. That we are going to see in the next lesson in Siva Bhoga. So there are some 7 or 8 techniques given to us, and Swami says he has got a beautiful hymn on ஆணிப்பொன் நம்பளத்தை கண்ட காட்சிகள் அற்புத காட்சியடி அம்மா அற்புத காட்சியடி. Wonderful sights I saw when I entered into the house of the golden house of God. அம்மையை கண்டேனடி அமுதமும் உண்டேனடி தாங்கும் அவள் அருளாலே நடராஜர் சந்நிதிக்குள் சென்றேனடி சந்நிதிக்குள் சென்று நான் கண்ட காட்சி சாமி ஏறிவாரடி. See, this is all ultimate experience. It's not experience, it is imperience. Ultimate experience of Shiva. Ammayai kandenadi. I saw the mother, and she gave me this ambrosia, and she guided me to enter into the sanctum sanctorum of Siva. And what did I see inside the sanctum sanctorum, holy of the holies? I cannot say that. It is beyond words and speech and mind. Sannidhikul sendru naan kanda kaatchi Sami erivaradi. Because there is only Shiva. There is no individual soul of Vallalar, Ramalinga Adigal. No such thing there. In another place he says, உறைந்த அனுபவம் தோழி நிறைந்த வெளியே. Oh my friend, when I united with my Lord, what happened? There was neither me nor God. There was only empty space, vast empty space. And he says, உறைந்த அனுபவம். That moment was timeless. It was a frozen moment. It was beyond time. உறைந்த அனுபவம், that experience, தோழி, oh my friend, Nirainda Peruveliye. So this is the ultimate description of Siva Yoga. And Swami in his prose works gives us transformation of 8 attributes of Jiva into Siva. See, there are 8 gunas of Jiva, 8 attributes of Jiva. They are transformed into 8 gunas of Siva. 1. Humans depend on nature and God for his food, air and knowledge. God has independence. He is self-made, self-sustainable. And Vallalar adds, only compassion makes him so. 2nd, impure body causing him miseries. God is having a pure body. 3, artificially induced cognition from external stimuli for humans. For God, naturally endowed with perfect absolute consciousness. Perfect absolute consciousness. Everything about God is absolute. Limited consciousness of humans and absolute omniscience of God. 5, born with bondage and lives in bondage. Humans are always in bondage. Naturally free from bondage. That is God. 6, self-centered narrow-mindedness. All humans are self-centered. They can claim to be not to be so, but you can at last you can find some sort of self-centeredness there. That makes them human. And God, absolute compassion for God. Impotence for man and infinite omnipotence for God. He could do anything and everything. And body with mala, physical and psychic for man. And infinite bliss. This is in prose works, number 50, Siva Gunamum, Jiva Gunamum. So, we have seen, I believe, to some extent, what is Siva Yoga? Where is the door to the house of Siva? How to knock at it to open it? We have seen some techniques to knock at the door and open it, provided that your lifestyle becomes compassionate, according to Vallalar. And what do you get from Siva? You get the ambrosia of compassion. Arulamudam, Indar Arulamudam. You get it. When you get it, what happens? Your entire body, mind, soul and spirit, all these are totally transformed from being in a limited relative condition to an indefinite, illimitable, infinite, absolute condition of Siva. And we saw how these 8 attributes of humans are being transformed into 8 attributes of Siva. To sum up, I think this will be enough. In the next class, we will talk about Siva Bhoga, how God Shiva lives, and how we are raised to that level by Siva Yoga, and how we can continue to live in that absolute way of living. Thank you. Arutperunjothi, Arutperunjothi, Thaniperum Karunai, Arutperunjothi. May all sentient beings live in happiness. May the divine feet of Vallalar be praised. Thank you, sir.